Boo. Ha 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 ha. Hello everyone. Since Halloween is coming up, I thought we could all just sit back, relax, and look at some spooky stories that sound very made up, but are actually true stories. Yeah, some of these stories, again, they may sound very made up, but they are actually true stories. Now, I'm kind of scared about this. Okay, so let's just sit back, relax, and look at the stories, shall we? And just if you guys are confused, yes, I did use AI. I did ask AI to come up with the stories rather than just looking them up on Google. Probably because I'm too lazy. I don't know, but let's just look at the first story. The UFO that shut down nuclear missiles. Interesting. In 1937, at the yeah, some of these words I'm not going to be good at pronouncing because I've never read them before. In 1967, at an Air Force base in Montana, multiple nuclear missiles suddenly went offline. At the same time, guards reported seeing a glowing red object hovering above the base. The incident was documented by military personnel. Again, I'm not going to be good at some of these words. And remains unexplained. Even decades later, former officers have testified about the event before Congress. Wait, so you're meaning to tell me that aliens at one point could have possibly came to Earth and what? Nah, man, that's messed up, dude. There's no way that could be true. Again, these stories are 100% true, but seriously though, nah, that's crazy. That's really scary to think about. Aliens just popping onto Earth and just pretending like nothing's happening. Nah, bro, that's crazy. The man who showed up with no identity and no past. A little strange, but okay. In 2004, a man was found wandering the streets of Georgia, US, with no memory of who he was. He called himself Benjamin Kyle. Despite national media coverage fingerprinting the DNA testing, no one can identify him for over a decade. He had no social security number, no family, no records. It was as if he never existed. His identity was finally uncovered in 2015. Oops. But how he lost it remains a mystery. Yeah, that is kind of a mystery. On one hand, I really don't believe this one is true because there's no way someone can just not have memory of anything they've done in their life. So you mean to tell me you blink for 1 second and you don't even remember that you blinked? Okay, well that one's kind of stupid, but still, like that one is so confusing and messed up that okay, for this one was just so stupid. It was kind of a mystery, you know. This one was just so stupid. I have a hard time believing that this one was actually true. I mean, according to AI, since AI knows everything, it's true. Whatever, let's just move on. The Topolegener of Emily Sagi. Again, there's some words I'm just not good at reading. In the 1840s, ooh, we got a really long one. Oh, no, I meant one that was a really long time ago. Let's begin. In the 1840s, a French teacher named Emily was reportedly seen in two places at once by multiple students and staff. Her double would appear beside her in class, mimicking her movements silently. Students claimed to touch the apparition, which felt like air. The phenomenon witnessed dozens of times, and Emily was eventually dismissed from 19 schools because of it. Wait, so you mean to tell me students just went up and touched something that felt like air? Nah, they must have been They must have been touching the ghost of her or something. I swear, there must have been a ghost in class that they can physically with their eyes see. That had to have been a ghost or what? Because I swear, there's no way you could just touch someone and they feel like nothing. Either that or maybe the students were just tripping. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. All right, what you students cracking on? Okay, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But nah, those stories were kind of scary, you know. And Oh, that's it? Alright, be right back, YouTube. Alright, now I asked AI to give me more stories that are spooky and sound very fiction, but are true. The frozen woman who came back to life. I don't know why this is giving me vibes of when Walt Disney's body was frozen. I really don't know why it gives me vibes of that. Anyways, let's move on with the story. In 1980, Jean was found frozen solid in Minnesota after being stranded in sub-zero temperatures. Her body was so stiff that doctors couldn't insert a thermometer. Her skin was ice, but after hours of slow warming, she woke up. No brain damage, no frostbite. She made a full recovery. Scientists still struggle to explain how she survived. Oh wait, I didn't see the period there. Let me say that again. Scientists still struggle to explain how she survived. Yeah, if I was a scientist, I want to know how the hell she survived either. Like, how is that possible? Why is it that when Walt Disney's body was frozen, they couldn't bring him back to life, but yet this person, Jean, can come back to life? How does that sound fair to you? I don't know. Imagine just seeing Walt Disney today and experiencing what it must have been like being frozen for many years. Just imagine seeing Walt Disney today if he was still alive. That's also kind of scary to think about, too, you know? The man who fell into a skin hole in his bedroom. What? What? Dude, that's messed up. That, just by the title, that sounds messed up right there, boy. In 2014, a Florida man named Jeff Bush was sleeping when the ground beneath his bedroom collapsed. A sinkhole swallowed him alive. Despite rescue efforts, his body was never recovered. The hole was so deep and unstable that the house was demolished. It's one of the most chilling examples of nature striking without warning. Oh, hell no. Like, imagine that's just how you die. You peacefully fall asleep, and you're like, well, time to move on with my complicated life the next day. And then, nope, you're just swallowed up by some, like, thing. That would be that's like the worst way to die, I swear. Out of all these on the list, this one sounds the most make-believe, but it's still true. Like, this one I have, like, the hardest time believing, sure. Like, out of all of them, I'd say this one is probably 100% fake and AI is just messing with me. You mess with me, AI, you're artificial intelligence. You're supposed to know things. But just imagine, like, that's really how you die. But, like, seriously, though. Now, the next one. The patient who lived with no brain. Huh? That title is so confusing. I know I say that for a lot of the titles, but nah. Like, what even the heck are these titles? A man in France went to the doctor for mild leg pain. Scans revealed that 90% of his brain was missing. What? Wait, don't. You're telling me the man who let's go back to that other story for a minute. The man who completely forgot everything. He had no memory of anything. His identity was nothing. No, there's no identity. Like, and yet somehow he lived with a brain. But this guy right here, this guy was missing 90% of his brain. Tell me how that makes sense. That guy who had no memory of his existence still had, like, a brain, and yet this guy... Tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how that actually makes sense. His skull was mostly filled with fluid, yet he lived a normal life, had a job, and was married with kids. Doctors were stunned. Yeah, I'm pretty stunned too. It's a case that challenges everything we knew about consciousness. I'm surprised I was even able to read that word. Oh boy. But, like, damn, bro, that's kind of sad. That's really kind of sad. That's pretty sad if you think about it, really. I just realized I didn't have breakfast yet this morning, which is not a good thing. Anyways, the man from... I can't read that. In the 1950s, a man arrived at Tokyo airport with a passport from a country called... whatever that says, which doesn't exist. He spoke multiple languages, had stamps from real countries, and insisted... That looks like the word turd, so I'm just gonna say turd, because it looks like the word turd. And he insisted turd was between France and Spain. Authorities detained him, but he vanished from a local hotel room. No trace was ever found. I mean, the guy was probably lying. Now, this guy was just pretty much lying. He probably just came up with the name of a country that didn't exist just to have an excuse. Like, I feel like that guy was just either cracking up or lying. I don't know either one. He was probably lying, but I don't know. I don't know about that one. The woman who lived with a stranger in her attic. Hold the phone. Like, actually hold the phone. Like, I don't know how this one could be scary. There are a lot of people around the world, like, I've seen YouTube videos of people who claim to have people, like, strangers living with them. I've seen multiple videos, YouTube videos of that, like, I've seen it all, y'all. I've seen it all. A woman in South Carolina kept noticing food missing and strange noises. Yeah, you think? One day, she found a man living in her attic. He'd been there for weeks. He had a sleeping bag, a heater, and even used her bathroom while she was out. He was an ex-boyfriend who had secretly moved in. It's the stuff of nightmares. What the hell? Bro, you're telling me because your girlfriend broke up with you, you think that gives you a right to just live with her? Because you just didn't. That's not how you do it. As soon as a girl leaves you, you gotta face it, man. You're lonely. You go back to your loneliness and you feel all depressed and sick and die. You don't just try to be a freaking stalker. Like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you, ex-boyfriend? You don't do that. You don't do that. What are these stories, man? Like, what actually are they? They are rather questionable than spooky. Oh, man. The Time Traveler's Watch. This all of a sudden reminds me of the time when somebody tried to create a time machine, but wasn't able to. And then, I think someday he just randomly disappeared or something. Yeah, do you guys remember that story? I don't remember much from that story, but that's, like, the most I can remember. Someone tried to build, like, a time machine, and then he, like, mysteriously appeared or something. Yeah, do you guys know that story? Because, in 2008, archaeologists opened a sealed tomb in China that had been untouched for 400 years. Inside, they found a modern-looking Swiss ring watch, stuck at 10:06. The watch was confirmed to be real. Sorry. But no one could explain how it got there. Theories range from hoax to time travel. That made no sense at all. And that's not really a scary story. The boy who solved his own murder. Huh? No. That title does not click with me. A 3-year-old boy in Syria claimed he remembered being murdered. He led elders to a village, pointed out the killer, it even showed where the body was buried. A skeleton was found, along with the murder weapon. The accused confessed. The boy's story matched the facts exactly. That's pretty scary. I had no idea how a 3-year-old boy can just have memory of being killed and then just the I think that boy used to live a life and then he died, but then in theory he was reincarnated and was able to he was born again. Is that really what happens after you die? You just aren't born again? I don't know how that would work. Anyways. Yeah. Okay, well finally another one that's actually like scary and dark. Like most of these have really just been more of like mysterious stories rather than like dark and spooky. Alright, I think that was the last one. Alright, that's where we end the video right there. What did you think of these stories? Did they spook you out a little? Were some of them questionable? Did some of them just not click with you? Let me know in the comments below. And smack that like button. Go ahead and give a big thumbs up to that like button. Comment your thoughts. Share with your friends, family, so they can see my videos too to get more views. But of course, I love you guys more than I love the views. And I'll see you all. And boo.